Hey, Ram fans. Hey, Ram fans, I have my Rams recap for you. Kind of late, 18 hours or so behind the podcast this week. I had some challenging circumstances on the road trying to get some content out. But what a win. Very aggravating first half, to say the least. And I felt like the Rams were sleepwalking there. Felt like Sean McVay maybe rolled out of the wrong side of the bed and was dragging a little bit. Meanwhile, the Cardinals looked like they had some pep in their step, didn't they? But thank goodness for those two catches by Cooper Kupp in the first half, two long receptions that set up field goals. Otherwise, we might have been shut out there. We go to halftime down 9-6, and I have a feeling some words were exchanged in that locker room. Something about, hey, let's run the ball, shall we? Could have come from the players, could have come from the offensive line or Kyren Williams, or maybe it was just McVay finally waking up and saying, hey, I love the toys I have to play with in the passing game, but let's run the rock. And man, Kyren Williams, what a performance. I have to tell you, and I don't think I'm overstating this, that is the best performance by a running back I have seen since the Todd Gurley days. I'm not saying he's a Todd Gurley, the second incarnation. I'm not saying that at all. But Kyren Williams is slowly revealing himself to be something very, very special, showing explosiveness, speed, agility, quick in the holes, quick to the holes, quick out of the holes. And wow, we have found ourselves a great running back, and I sincerely mean that, a great running back. And a shout out to this offensive line and the tight ends. They got it done. Coleman Shelton, Steve Avila, Rob Havenstein, Kevin Dotson, and Alaric Jackson, they all got it done, especially I think Shelton and Dotson and Havenstein especially. Pro Football Focus grades are starting to leak in, but I don't care what those grades are. These guys had a great game, a great second half especially. And I think one of the things the Rams have going for them is these receivers they have and these tight ends, they can all block. Well, except maybe Tutu. But Tutu adds that dimension of, if he's in motion and trying to take the top off, that's almost as good as putting a block on two guys, right? But even Davis Allen and Ben Skowronek and Puka Nacua got shout-outs from Sean McVay for their assistance, for their performance in the running game. And Skowronek and Allen, I checked the snaps. I think they're out there for a combined 7 snaps, but Sean McVay noticed whatever they were doing. I'll have to go back and look, but getting it done in the running game. What a great win for the Rams to get to 3-3. Unfortunately, they have some issues to deal with moving forward. Kyren Williams looks like he will be out against the Steelers. Ronnie Rivers looks like he will be out for 4 weeks or so. That leaves Zach Evans, Royce Freeman. There's some guys out there that the Rams could pick up. Rex Burkhead, who else? Ronald Jones, Malcolm Brown, Leonard Fournette. They're probably going to pick up someone. I don't know if it's going to be one of those guys. It may be more of a unsigned rookie free agent type player. We'll have to see. But this is a game against the Steelers, the way the Rams are rolling. Favored by 3.5 is what I saw. I have a feeling that may come down a little bit with Kyren Williams out. Maybe a point shaved off there. That's my guess. I could be wrong on that. We'll have to see. But so the Rams have to get healthy, and it's unfortunately the Steelers are coming off a bye week, and that's what really sucks about how the schedule's set up. The Rams have a lot of games like this where they're playing teams that are coming off additional rest, and this is one of them. And hey, if we had a bye week right now, it would probably be the perfect time. But great game, great win, great second half especially. You see those stats. Kyren Williams ends up with 158 yards rushing. And Byron Young in this defense, get caught up in the offense too much. Guilty of that too often. The defense struggled in the first half, especially on these third and long, giving up these third and long conversions, especially to the quarterback. So aggravating. But overall, they actually played pretty good. turned away the Cardinals in the red zone, forced field goals, even after that fumbled punt by Austin Trammell. So shout out to the defense. And Young, our rookie edge rusher, starting to look like every week it flashes just a little bit more. He had a fumble, forced the fumble on the sack, and O'Shawn Mathis also getting a lot of snaps, 18 snaps. It'd be interesting to see what what kind of stats he racked up and what kind of grades he got in somewhat from Pro Football Focus and the likes. Haven't seen that yet. So some of the young guys really stepping up. Christian Roseboom, a big interception, and as I mentioned in the pod, those tipped passes are starting to go our way. They're starting to even out, and that was a big play. At the time, the game was still kind of in the balance, although I was feeling much more comfortable about the Rams coming away with the win here at that point. I remember I had predicted a 27-17 Rams win, and my thought was the Cardinals would hang midway through the third quarter. The Rams would pull away, and by the end of the third quarter, the game would not be in question anymore, and Christian Roseboom's interception was pretty much the final nail in the coffin, more or less. Rams rolled to a win after that. Stafford, not a spectacular day, but he had two really good passes in the end zone that should have been touchdowns to Puka Nacua and Tyler Higbee. Just a little bit off to Higbee maybe, but on a better day, both of those are touchdowns. So the Rams improved to 3-3. Hey, one last thing on special teams, our punt returning. I got to tell you, on the one hand, I want to just say, hey, let's take a fair catch. But we'll get penalties on fair catches too, I have a feeling. So I don't know what to do about our punt return. We had one good return. Then we had another one with a flag, and then we had another one with the fumble. A net negative in the return game for our punt return game. The one time we got pushed back to the 14, I think after the penalty, that's where we drove for the touchdown. So maybe field position isn't important enough to risk turning the ball over like we did there. That could have been really costly. Defense stepped up though. Out here from Rams Up, this has been a Rams recap, but also a little bit of a Rams rehash. We'll have our rehash podcast coming out later tonight. And then onward to week 7 in the Pittsburgh Steelers.